Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Jack. So I saw The Thing remake slash prequel in theaters a few days ago. I did not know it was a prequel until a couple days before going in, and I was like, wow, okay. I've been expecting a remake this whole time, and I've been looking forward to a remake, and this is a prequel. What are they going to do? Is it going to be like the original story with a little bit of backstory? No, it's a straight prequel. And as a prequel, they did a pretty good job setting up for the original. As a movie, it was, but anyway, I'll be getting into that in a minute. So, The Thing stars two actors that I can actually recognize: Eric Christian Olsen from Fired Up, and Mary Elizabeth Winstead from Final Destination 3 and Live Free Die Hard. Those two actors I recognized, and from movies that I've seen. The rest of the actors, it's not that they are bad or anything like that. They just weren't standout actors that I wanted to go look up and check out, and I haven't recognized any of them, so from anything else, really. So The Thing basically takes the format of the original movie and puts it to a different storyline before setting it for the original movie. And then explains some things and changes some things around. I had two big worries going in to the original, or to the remake of The Thing. The first one was atmosphere. I had to get the atmosphere right, and I had a feeling they weren't going to. The atmosphere was so amazing in the first movie, it's very hard for someone to get it right nowadays. They're putting a lot of work into it. So I was very worried about that. Second was effects. The original had all practical effects, and they were great. And as cartoony as they could possibly get, in even some of the older movies where they look terrible, they're still better than CGI, in my opinion. The CGI, when you see it, it just takes you out of the moment, takes you out of the picture. You're like, wow, that looks fake. For me, at least, if it's a puppet and it looks fake, it's still in the movie, so it's like I'm still in there. So that was my second worry, is too much CGI effects. I was afraid that I was going to kill it. So if you've seen the original Thing, which I'm hoping you have if you're watching this and you want to go see the remake, if you haven't, stop now and go watch The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing. You must see it. So go watch it right now. So by now, everyone should have hopefully seen The Thing. So the things that made the original Thing a fantastic movie are: one, writing. A great story, great idea, and it is a remake, but it's not a straight remake, so, the writing was fantastic. Two, directing. Obviously, John Carpenter did a fantastic job with, directing the movie. Three, atmosphere. The atmosphere is the set, the amazingly beautiful set, snow, ice, everything, the music, the whole tone of the movie, everywhere, just the atmosphere was amazing. And then four, effects. The effects were great. There was obviously some that look, go walk and watch it now and you're like, oh, that's fake. But it still looked fantastic. Fantastic. The effects were so cool. The creatures, the Thing, were just so great. If I were to say what John Carpenter did so right with The Thing, the original Thing, is that they screwed up so bad with this one, is this saying less is more. It's like it plays in so many ways in the original movie. The original set is obviously not small. There's a lot of actors, and there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of action too, but the way it's filmed, the way it's done, the set so evolves around the characters as things progress and as things go on. The set just kind of, as things get colder and they lose power, the set freezes up more, the hallways get narrower, the places get smaller, there's buildings that they can go into and they can't go into, get fewer, everything, there's less people, then there's less weapons. It's just the way, and then it's more hidden, it's the way it's directed, so suspenseful, the way it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. This claustrophobic feel, and it's almost open to the snow and there's less places to go. The way it was made, it feels like there's nowhere to go, there's no escape, and that's what made it so amazing. And the music obviously was fantastic, and the set, that was so much work was put into it. just added to everything. So that's what I think just made, you know, you don't need tons of action. You don't need a whole lot of screen time for the monster. The whole point of the thing was that it was hidden, and no one knows who it was, or who it is, or where it's going to pop up next. You don't need this big creature chasing people around. That's what made the original so great, is you didn't really have that big creature kind of chasing people around. I mean, there were parts of it, but it was done in such a way that it was fantastic, and the overall feel of the movie just left you at the end of the movie like, whoa, oh my god, that was such a great movie. So the key for that, I think, is less is more. And going into the original, as soon as the credits opened, there's this tractor rolling through the snow, and the snow looked great. It looked a little, you know, touched up, and it was pretty, but it didn't have the right feel to it. I was expecting right away, but that's fine. It's the beginning of the movie, so it was this beautiful set with this snow, and there's this tractor, or not tractor, but, you know, snowmobile, whatever. These Russian guys, or whatever they are, they're telling jokes, and, you know, it sucks you right back into the original movie, because you think of those guys in the very beginning, the helicopter, and you're like, okay, cool, alright, it gets you right in there. And they're driving through, and they hit this small patch of ice, and this ice cracks in their tractor, their snowmobile tractor, whatever, this big snowcat thing or whatever, falls down this crack, and there's this pitch black, just like impending doom kind of feel to it. They're just like, the tractor is just going down more and more, not tractor, you know what I mean. It's just going down the crack, and it's like slipping, and it's just this fantastic opening scene where you're just like, oh my god, like, it looks like it's never ending, holy crap. And then they proceed to do something that I think was cool, but kind of killed the feel right in the beginning. They set you up with this amazing original, like the original movie kind of sucks you into the original movie, and then it's like, new movie. They did is basically, you look down the crack, and it starts to kind of light up, and you can see this formation. It's kind of like a spaceship. And then the light from the beginning, or from the middle of the spaceship, comes out, and it becomes the Thing credits, which was an awesome effect. It looked great, but it took out the whole idea of this never-ending, pitch black, you know, crack of, like, you know, nowhere. They have to explain that obviously the Thing is down there, but I liked the idea of the very opening scene being like, wow, what the hell is down there? You know, like, where does it end? What is it? I liked that feeling, and then as soon as they show the ship, it just like takes you out of it. So the prequel basically starts setting up its characters by someone finds this chunk of ice. This isn't really spoilers. I mean, no spoilers to the end of the movie, or to the end of the review. Sorry. So without any spoilers, this is just, you'll find this out really early, basically, just like the original movie, the chunk of the ice that the Thing is in. There's something that they're going to get. And they gather this crew of specialists that are, you know, trained to get stuff out of the ice, basically. So they're going to get this thing out of the ice. And they're trying to be careful, you know, not to crack it and preserve it, and they take it back to this other, they gather this crew and they take it back to this other, to the set, basically, where the movie takes place. But the first thing that I think that they did wrong in this movie is, like I said, less is more. The atmosphere in the original was so perfect because it, like, didn't go anywhere else. There was like, sure, there were scenes that took place at other places, but then, like, the movie, it seemed like the set was in the middle of nowhere. This, it kind of like, it starts out in the snow in this set that already looks like the original Thing, and then the girl who they come to get, she just kind of goes with them when they go to the site where the ice is, and then they just go to the actual set. So it's almost like everything's close by. It feels like, it doesn't feel as desolate and as closed off as the original did. And that's like the first thing that I think that they really messed up in the plot, because that sets up for the whole atmosphere, the whole pacing of the movie. And as soon as you feel like, oh, there's help close by. There's lots of different stations, different people. It kills it right there. So they take the ice back, or this thing they found, back to the set of the movie. This place where they can study it, take samples of it, whatnot, and you find out what it is, and they start talking about it, and this discovery, and all these people want to take credit for it, and they're studying and everything, and something happens, and all hell breaks loose, basically. And then it takes the same basic format of the original, without giving too much away, but and then when you get into the effects of the movie, which was my second biggest worry going into the movie, it's like, it starts out great. At first I was like, okay, this looks cool, because I was really worried about the effects. So when I was looking at stuff online, I saw these set monsters, these creatures that looked like they were supposed to be in the movie, and they looked awesome. I was like, okay, cool, these are practical effects, not a whole bunch of CGI. This is going to look great. So I was excited. I was like, these look cool, and like half of them weren't even in the movie. But the effects, oh man, it did this where it's like they did practical effects and it would look cool, and then it would switch to CGI almost as if they couldn't do it with practical effects. But if John Carpenter could do it, they can do it now. I don't know why they did that with a lot of the scenes. So it's almost like you're like, oh, really? That looks so fake. And it takes you out of the movie, and you're just like, dang it, CGI. And then when you see the thing, the creature more, it's just like there's a part in the movie where it reminded me of The Unborn, that crawling down the stairs guy from The Unborn. And when I'm comparing something from has anything to do with John Carpenter to something from The Unborn, which was a terrible, terrible movie with a fake CGI creature, that's just sad. That's bad. And it reminded me of The Unborn. And I just couldn't stop thinking about how I was like, this is kind of cool, but it looks so fake. It reminds me of The Unborn. And I was just like, oh my god. It takes me out of it. So then, like, near the end of the movie, they start adding some different storylines to kind of, I guess, set up almost backstory to the backstory. This is a prequel, and they want to set up backstory to the backstory. So they immediately switch sets. They go somewhere else. Like, a couple of characters. I'm not saying, like, everyone just, like, switches, the set switches, but, they move locations, which is like, oh my god, it's the end of the movie, and you're moving locations. Why? Why would you do that? Have you seen the original thing? Have you seen it? Terrible. Killed it for me right there. As soon as they start leaving, they start up the cat, the snow cat, whatever you want to call it. They start it up, and they go to where they originally found the thing. And I was like, oh my god, why? And that's where pretty much the end of the movie takes place. There is one thing that I will say I really did enjoy. The atmosphere of the movie was pretty cool for the most part. They did a lot of things right. The set was cool, but there wasn't enough of the set. There was more like a hallway that looked really cool, a few bathrooms, things like that, and then there was too much outer stuff that killed it. And that is part of what ruined it. But another thing that they did great was they found a new way to discover who the thing was. And I thought that was really cool. That they changed a little bit from the original, a new idea. I thought that was great. So, overall, I would say that the new thing / prequel, they did a great job a cool job of, especially the ending credits, setting up for the original movie in a way of explaining how the ice melted